for those people who don't know you, where does the Iceman, the name Iceman, come from?
Iceman is a man like you and me. I'm not a woman, I'm a man, but most of it all is I'm a human. I'm a human you can identify with. I'm a dropout of school, yet I'm teaching doctors and professors all over the world. I'm collaborating. Why? Because I've gone into nature. And nature has answers where we in our society, alienated from nature, suddenly find ourselves with problems and we cannot solve. And then we come up with pills and medicines and earning models on our diseases. And I say, hey, stop, stop, stop. We have capacities given by nature, by birthright, to fend off bacterial and viral
Sure.
stress. Not only, also emotional stress, mental stress, weather stress, thermal stress, and all kinds of more, and pain. There is an opioid crisis in the world. We have abilities to fend off pain, but we lost this connection inside, and I found that in nature. Nature has been my school. So I went into nature and I found myself exercising and teaching myself the abilities of the mind and body, mirroring it in extreme cold environment like water, like the Mount Everest in shorts, or running marathons beyond the polar circle in shorts, or in the deserts, which is thermal stress, and show it to do it without training and without water. That is the power of the mind. Mind's capacity is much more than we have been schooled in. And nature taught me therein. I could discover, follow my intuition, my instinct, and find out much more than what was written in books. And then I found profound answers on our existent problems, namely the power to tap into the so-called, up till very recently, up till we showed it in university comparative studies, how to tap into the autonomic nervous system, which was unknown. And that related to the autonomous processes of the immune system, which was unknown to be within the capacity to control it at will for humans, any humans. And we showed them all different. We showed that we are capable to get into the autonomic nervous system, to get into the autonomous processes of the immune system and hormonal system, and many more things. So we now are able, in contrary of what was stated in science, that we are now able to get into the deepest of the brain, into the bone marrow, into the DNA. And we are doing all these studies, and we have shown this in 2014, how to beat, say, inflammation.
Yeah.
Do
So,
you know, last year, Rishi, a wizard, the wise man, the Rishi,
yeah.
that last year 1.5 million people died of COVID.
Yes.
But and you see the turmoil in the world, but you don't know that
Yeah.
60 to 70 million people every year die of inflammation. And we showed in 2014 how to bring down inflammation within a quarter of an hour. Not I began to show that. I was the first one in science to show that.
Yeah.
But then that is NS1, that is just one number. And then I showed it with 18 people. And after 16,134 people all doing the same model, being injected with a E. coli bacteria, which creates a overactive immune system, cytokine storm, disease like fever, headaches, all over agony,
Mhm.
vomiting, nausea, for 3 to 6 hours. 16,000 people suffered all about the same sickness, disease, for 3 to 6 hours. It's a controlled experimental model. And then I took it and I had no sickness. I had no disease, no symptoms. And then they said, "But you are the Iceman." And I say, "No, anybody can do what I am doing."
So are you,
I will
just to
show you.
clarify, you're saying anyone can do what you're doing, yes? So when was your first experience of being in the ice per se? When did you, because I understand, I know you had a sad incident with your wife, you know, your ex-wife. Do you mind explaining a bit more to the viewers
I
about
was 17,
this?
17 when I began to go into the ice. I was already at 17 years quite a philosopher, quite a debater,
Like a rishi
quite a
like me,
big
or
guy.
like a rishi, like a wise man.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I wasn't yet a Maharishi, but I was a Rishi, all right. And at that time, I found myself at 14, 13, 14, attracted to the Maharishi, Mahesh Yogi, who came from India, also a doctor,
Yeah.
and he introduced a transcendental meditation. But back then, it was all strange, new, a man with a beard there and long hair, a doctor coming with a TM and like flying, like the city, the Lagimi city, which is a supernatural power and all. And he began to advocate if only 1% is doing this in the whole world, you get the violence and all will go down because you change the frequency in a unified field of consciousness. So he was advocating that, and I loved it. I loved it, and I loved to be a vegetarian. Back then, when I was 12, I began with being a vegetarian, which was unheard of. Nobody did that. I was a stranger, the black sheep, and nobody wanted to be with that strange guy, which I was. I was into. I loved to do yoga, and I was interested, intrigued. But then, still, I did not find the real answers I was looking for. And at 70, age of 17, I found myself attracted by intuition to go into cold water, into freezing cold water in the winter day, in morning, a sunny morning. I went in, and there I found the stillness of my mind, which was the thing I was looking for. The depth of my mind awakened at that moment, just like an epiphany. And that made me go back every day. 44 years ago it began, and every day you can find me or in a cold shower or in cold natural bodies of water during all the winter. I'm wearing nothing but shorts and a t-shirt most of the winter outside, and I feel great because that's thermogenesis. But back then, I just felt great doing it. And from there, logically, what happens when you go into cold water, you take a deep breath. That's what you do. And you learn to deep breathe. And that will change the biochemistry. The pH level goes up, alkalinity. And then the right pH level makes the adaptation toward the stressor much better. And now it shows. When I did a study in 2011 here in the Radboud University by staying 80 minutes in direct contact with ice, and they took the blood while I was in the ice with one arm like this out of the ice here, and they took the blood, and my core body temperature remained the same. So that is autonomous processes in the body, thermal regulation done by the hypothalamus, a part of the brain we cannot really control. And now I was controlling it like out of all what they thought is possible and never been seen. And so I showed to stay at 37 degrees, 80 minutes long, in direct contact with ice, while I was talking to the doctors and the professors, there were about 20 people around me with monitors, and I was wired to them. They could see my vital functions, my core body temperature, skin temperature. They could see, yeah, many things. The blood samples later showed that my blood at that moment was able to receive endotoxin, and normally you have a very aggressive reaction of endotoxin or E. coli bacteria inserted. You get a very violent reaction of the immune cells. In my case, 0%. And they had never seen that
Yeah.
before. And then they began to go with me in vivo, directly administering a direct injection E. coli bacteria. And then they saw I had no symptoms whatsoever. And then I said, but what I can do, anybody can do. So give me a group of people. They gave me a group of people, and within 4 days, they were able to influence into deeply into the autonomous nervous system, into the endocrine system, and into the immune system, which was not been shown before that moment
Yeah.
in the medical science and history. And that is
Wow.
groundbreaking. That is fundamental, because what we found in this method coming from me, the searcher, the seeker, finding wisdom, rishi, inside the nature, coming back and doing it for 25 years, being called crazy for what I was doing by anybody. Now you see the world who is now crazy. But I got the answer. The answer is simple. We have alienated from nature, and we are part of nature. We have to get back to nature and make the immune system work the way nature meant it to be. And that it's in there, but it is weakened.
Yeah.
And it's in there, but we have never schooled our neurology to connect. If we talk about yoga, yoga means connecting.
Yes.
And we never connected with our deeper physiology of the mind and the body as one. Yeah, and now we have shown in laboratory brain scans that we are able consciously to activate not 16% of our brain, but 100.
Yes.